Hey guys, in this video we're going to be moving forward with the Nova. We're going to get the EFI fuel system going. We're also going to clean up like the firewall and the underneath of the car. That way that the fuel tank can be mounted back up in there, because we are going with the factory fuel tank and modifying it until we can get a fuel cell. The fuel cell is not really a necessity for right now, so that's why we are just going with the factory gas tank, and we're just going to kind of retrofit the EFI fuel pump into it. Also, I'm just trying to clean up some of the firewall. I've got a lot of the wiring done. There's a couple little things I'm trying to work out. The headlights are having an issue for some reason right now, but everything else is working good. There's power at the coil, the starter turns over, everything looks like it's working properly. So before we get too far along, we're going to go ahead and get a nice coating of POR 15 on the firewall. There's going to be some ignition boxes and stuff mounted on the firewall, so I want everything to be nice and clean, and you might as well take care of it now while it's easy to access, and then we'll just clean up everything. I also did get the battery relocated to the back here. That actually tucked away nicely in there, and with this plate on top of it, it's going to protect it from getting kicked or anything like that. So pretty much this video will be setting the stage for all the great stuff to come with the EFI in the next video. So we just have to get everything prepped up. We've got our little block off plate. We got to put some POR 15 on as well. The reason we're going with the POR 15 is because I've used it time and time again, and it never fails. It's like a very hard finish. It doesn't chip off, doesn't flake. It also adheres really nicely as long as the surface is prepped up. So I've always used it. I always really like it. So I've used it on everything, and I think it's just a durable finish that's going to last a long time. So we are going to do the whole firewall on that, the whole underside of the car, back where the gas tank is going to be mounted to, and then we'll go from there. Again, so a lot of this is going to be a time lapse, but the big thing is cleaning. So you've got obviously some rust here. You don't want to just put the POR 15 directly over that. That's not what this stuff is meant to do. You want to get all this stuff cleaned off, so scrape it all off as much as you can. And then if you want to put some more steam sealer on it, that's fine, but you need to take a wire brush, get everything cleaned up, get it all down to where it's just like barely surface rust. Then you put the POR 15 on top of it. You can't just go and put POR 15 directly over this and expect that it's going to work for you. There's a lot of people that will tell you that POR 15 is a horrible product. It's not true. Don't listen to the reviews. I'm not getting paid anything to say this, but it is a very good product as long as you do your part. Make sure everything's nice and clean. Make sure that you are applying it to bare metal, you know, some surface rust, some little minor pitting, perfectly fine. You can put that over there. But you need to make an effort to get as much rust removed from the panel as possible. Wipe it down. For extra protection, you could even do a self-etching primer, but I prefer just to get it as bare as possible, then put the POR 15 on with a brush. So we're going to do all that now on the time lapse. All right guys, so we got 2 coats put on here, and it's still wet, so it's looking glossy, but this is a semi-gloss finish once it's dry. But as you can see, it looks really good. Once it dries, everything will look nice and smooth. I just think the semi-gloss looks a lot better because it kind of hides the imperfections. Basically, we just put 1 coat on, give it 2 hours at least. Out here it's super cold, so I gave it a lot more time just to make sure that it was dry, and then put the second layer on. Over here we have the factory fuel tank. And as you can see, for this little sending unit, there's this little lock ring. So basically, there's little tabs on there, right there. And all you want to do is this just kind of twist in. So you want to hit it counterclockwise. Just put a flathead screwdriver like that, and then drive this like that. So once that comes out, the unit will literally just pull straight up out of there So you kind of have to give it some wigglage and it'll come out of there. But once we get this thing out, we're gonna see how we can set up everything else inside of here so that way nothing is interfering with each other inside the actual gas tank. All right, I'm gonna see if I can't get this thing out. It is super cold out here. We had about 10 inches of snow, so just kind of making do. Now it's supposed to get down to -1 Fahrenheit, so that's always fun. But this should just come out of there. You just got to twist it a little bit. There we go. All right, so basically what we have here is this is our fuel pickup tube, and it's got a little filter sock on it down here. So basically fuel's picked up through here, sent up to the mechanical fuel pump, and then you've got your fuel sending unit right here. This is like a little float mechanism that just floats on top of the gas and gives you a reading. Sometimes this can get stuck depending on if there's like corrosion and stuff in your tank, or they can just be faulty sometimes. So anyways, we're gonna set this aside. Now, depending on how all this is set up, the fuel pickup and the sending unit are together. So to keep the sending unit, I could always just not use the fuel pickup or cut it off and then still use the sending unit. All right guys, so sorry about all the background noise, but here I have the fuel pump hanger. As you can see, it's got a pressure line and a return line. So the red one is gonna be your pressure or your feed to your throttle body. As you can see, they're labeled with P and R for pressure and then return. So, all right, so in the kit, you also get your fuel pump, obviously. So this fuel pump is capable of 1,000 horsepower. It's good for pump gas, it's good for ethanol, all of it. So we are going to be installing that onto the pump hanger. And then I'm going to show you what else is included in the kit. All right, so you've got a couple different gaskets. It depends on what type of surface that you're mounting. The thicker gasket is for the uneven surfaces like you have here. And then the thin one is for like a flat surface if you were to go right there. They do have a couple different filter stock options. We're gonna go with the small one on this application. You also have your screws, some wiring accessories, a little plug, and then a clamp. So everything that you need to install this is in this box. All right, so what we're gonna need right now is this little C-ring. That's what the actual pump is gonna mount to. So you have to figure out where you want this pump to sit at. You just gotta remember the placement because this is the back of the tank towards the back of the car. So as you accelerate really hard, the gas is gonna slosh to the back of the tank. So there's no baffling or minimal baffling in these tanks. There's no foam or anything like that. You could outfit this with foam, but honestly, this is gonna be a temporary thing because we are going to eventually switch this to a fuel cell. All right guys, so the first thing that we're gonna do is drill a 2 1/8 inch hole. You're just gonna use a hole saw for that. So basically you'll set this down, figure out where you want this assembly to be at, mark the center of it, and then drill it out. First though, I wanna talk about a couple safety things. So this tank has been emptied out, there's no gas left in it. And when you're drilling into metal, it's possible that you might get a spark. So it's obviously important to use some kind of lubricant to cut down the chance of having a spark. You want to leave your tank open, let it air out. That way, if there's any fumes in there, when you get a spark, it doesn't go boom. So you need to make sure that everything is cleaned out, aired out. Obviously, there's going to be metal shavings down at the bottom of the tank whenever you do this. So you want to make sure that whenever you get this drilled, you want to go in with a shop vac or something and clean all that stuff out that you got at the bottom. All right, so I'm just trying to figure out the best place to mount this. I'm thinking like somewhere in this area will probably be the best place to get this mounted, since this mechanism kind of sits in here like this. And yeah, so that should be good right there. It's a nice flat spot too, where there's no ribs. If there are ribs in the tank, there is a thicker gasket that you can use to seal it up better, which they actually include both of those in the kit. All right guys, so my audio cut out here, so I'm just doing a little voiceover, but we measured the depth of the tank, and you want to do that at the front of the hole and then the back of the hole, because I have a tapered tank and there's actually quite a bit of difference in the front to the back. So you want to make sure you measure both sides, and then you want to take that measurement over to your fuel pump hanger and measure from the bottom of the flange down to the bottom of the whole assembly once everything is all put together. At the bottom of the tank, there's going to be a certain amount of clearance that you're going to need. That way the sock is not actually resting on the bottom of the tank, because that could actually plug up where it's going to draw fuel through. You're gonna mark that on the back of this metal strap here, make a mark, and then you're just gonna go and cut it out with a hacksaw. So the C-ring here, this was actually kind of a scary little task. So you got the machine screws in there, you wanna tighten them up, and you kind of walk it in through the C-notch, and then you wanna use both hands and carefully try to draw the whole mounting assembly up through there, which is easier said than done because you can very easily drop this in the tank, and I have no idea how you would get it out of there. So here I got it installed on the first try. I used the thin gasket because I just have a flat surface to mount to. If you have more of a ribbed surface or something like that, you can use the thick gasket. And then now we're going to move into prepping the whole fuel pump assembly for installation. So I have it all put together here. The only difference that I did was I cut the wires and I got rid of the connector because to push all of that through the little hole, especially with how much I shortened it, it was almost impossible. So I cut the connector off, just put ring terminals on the end of the wires coming out of the fuel pump, and just went directly to the fuel pump hanger with those. Once that was done, I snapped the fuel filter sock onto the bottom of the pump. And then here I'm just showing a close-up of how much I had to cut the clear hose. So this is probably the shortest that you could go with this fuel pump assembly. If you have a deeper tank, or if you use the deeper section of this tank, it'd probably work a lot better. But having it so short, it was kind of hard to wrestle the whole pump assembly in there. And now we have everything finally installed. We're just tightening up the whole system. All right, guys, so sorry about that loss of audio there. We did get the fuel pump installed, and we unfortunately are unable to take it apart and do everything step by step like we were supposed to, because obviously the audio cut out after we had already made all the changes and stuff, so it is what it is. But the sending unit and the fuel pump are both positioned where they're not interfering with each other, so it's going to be fine. We still have to plumb the fuel system, so that's going to be in the next video. I do have a pretty large list of parts to buy, so I'm going to get all those ordered. Over here on the firewall, everything's looking really good. We still have to install the little block off panel that I made, but everything's looking really good. I also figured out the issue with the lights not coming on. So it was grounded to the core support here, which is not connected to the frame by any other piece of metal, because down here it's sandwiched with two pieces of polyurethane. Ignore the extremely rusted out core support. I'm going to be hopefully fixing that whenever I get up to this section. So yes, we actually are on track for the next video still to put on the actual EFI unit, get everything wired up, get the fuel system plumbed. We actually still have the old fuel system in here, so that's one of the things I have to order, is a block off plate for the mechanical fuel pump, because we will obviously no longer be using that. All right, so make sure that you're subscribed to the channel, because the updates for this EFI system are going to be coming very soon. I am going to be making a playlist where you can look at all these videos involved in the installation process, but everything is right on track. If you liked the video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, and I will edit this video, get it out to you guys. I've already got the audio situation fixed, so we're good for the next video. But thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.